It's Belmont Stakes weekend. I was out on Friday for the co-features at Belmont Park. I was on track at Calder with my good friend Keith Moran. And then on Saturday, I was out for the entire day with both Keith and my best friend, Jeff Nelson. So let's see how the weekend turned out. First, on Friday. On Friday, I picked up my first winner in my second selection of the day when Gimme Credit came home and paid $8.10. I scored at Churchill Downs when Sweetbriar Academy was up in time as the 9-5 favorite, paid $5.80. Feature race of the day, my bet of the day, was in the 9th race, the Grade 3 Poker Stakes, where I had Courageous Cat. It's Friday, June the 10th, day before the Belmont Stakes. My bet of the day, the Grade 3 Poker Stakes, where I had number 1, Courageous Cat.
Cocktail, and they're into the stretch, and it's still yield bogey. Courageous Cat makes his run right up alongside now, and Courageous Cat, set down by Lascano, has taken the lead, and he moves away from yield bogey. Right one's got work to do, he's third, then Bourgeois. Courageous Cat, in his first start of the year, was sharp in the poker. He won by 2.5.
Woo! Much the best. 20 to win, got back 360. My buddy Jeff Nelson, 50 to win, he gets back 90. Woohoo! Nice win, and Jeff had 50 to win on that, so he came out almost breaking even on the day on his 2 bets. I scored again one more time at Churchill Downs with Uncle Pink, who paid $5.80. So for the day on Friday, I was 4 for 12 with the second and third, a nice 33%. Next, it was Saturday, June the 11th, Belmont Stakes Day. I had 40 selections on the day, and I had several winners, only one of which was a prize play. But I had several stakes winners. My first win of the day came in the 5th at Calder in the Leave Me Alone Stakes, where I had Beso Grande.
Tooth and nail and hanging on to that lead. Bessie M and Daniel Centeno, Beso Grande and Luis Serrano. Nothing between these fillies. Beso Grande, maybe a nose in front. Beso Grande! Beso Grande, Bessie M.
Leave Me Alone Stakes, Beso Grande, best of the day.
Big win, big win. Having a great time, too.
First win at Calder. I only had 4 selections at Calder. My next win came in the Rumson Stakes at Monmouth Park, where I thought Zero Rate Policy would be a little bit of a price, but instead he went off as the 4-5 favorite.
Deep stretch, it's Zero Rate Policy. Zero Rate Policy, and Carlos Marquez Jr. now pulling away by 5. Zero Rate Policy wins the Rumson Stakes.
Sizzled on the off-going, running 108 and change. Then I came right back with my second selection at Calder in the 6th race, the Unbridled Stakes, where Indiana looked to be odds on, and he did. He left the post at 4-5. He was listed at 7-2 on the morning line, but he was odds on, and as they turned for home...
While Indiana has opened up on the field, Indiana 4 lanes clear, close it out.
Here with Mark Love at Calder Racecourse. Winner, baby! Indiana! Winner!
My next score came in the 7th at Belmont, the first and only graded stakes score at Belmont, in the Grade 2 True North, where I liked Trap Shot, who also was listed at 7-2 on the morning line, but also went off at odds on at 6-5. And as they turned for home on the off-going...
Krakoa is 4th, and the funny bone is making a move on the far outside. Trap Shot has taken over, and Trap Shot is pouring it on. This one's for Phil, his second, but Trap Shot. It rained at Belmont today, and so did Trap Shot.
My next winning selection was my bet of the day. Well, it was my co-bet of the day. It was my bet of the day in Hollywood. It was the Grade 1 Whittingham, where I had number 1 Acclamation, and I had 50 to win.
Behind, outside of him, Red Alert Day, Acclamation, cuts the corner and leads, and he opens up a big margin. Acclamation is now 4 lengths in front. Bourbon Bay at the rail, Celtic New Year, and to the outside, Red Alert Day are all chasing the back-to-back Whittingham winner, Acclamation.
Hollywood Park, the Grade 1 Charlie Whittingham, Acclamation.
When Mark says 3 stars, gonna win, 3 for 3, baby. Another winner! Woo! Woohoo!
Much the best, much the best. Jeff and I both, nice score. I came back at Hollywood again, where I scored in a maiden special. A Toast to You paid $8.80, that was nice. I scored at Arlington when a race came off the turf, paid $5.80. At Delaware was my bet of the day. Havre de Grace, who may be a contender for Horse of the Year, was going in the Grade 3 Obia Stakes.
Havre de Grace with Saez now takes over the 6 in 12 and 3. It's Havre de Grace still under a hand ride. Tiz Mizzou is going to chase her home in second. Sarah Song's retreating third. Furlong to go. Havre de Grace is trying to show her class right now. Saez is still sitting chilly. It's Havre de Grace, and Saez is not asking for anything. Havre de Grace is romping by 2 1/4 over a game Tiz Mizzou, followed by Sweet and Sour.
Head of the day, Havre de Grace, 100 to win.
Woohoo! Yes, 100 to win. Nice job. Had a lot of confidence. Didn't even ask her. She looked really sharp today. I came back to score in the Grade 3 Affirmed out at Hollywood with number 1 Coyle, who had never been 2 turns. He was just dominant. My third selection at Calder scratched, so I had one more, and that was in the 11th the Ponce handicap, where I had the New York Invader Giant Ryan.
Let him go! Let him go! There you go! Let him go! Time, Nunes, you got time! Nunes, you got time!
Giant Ryan, 3 in a row.
3 for 3 at Calder. Nice day on the local circuit. In the 10th at Monmouth, the Just Smashing Stakes, I had Pomeroy's Pistol, who I'd seen run at Gulfstream Park, and he was a handy winner. Went off at 9 to 5, paid $5.80. My price play of the day, in the 8th at Hollywood, I had Yodelin' Dan trying to squeeze through a narrow opening on the rail as they came for home.
To the outside in Averue, J.P. Jammer, Pleasure to Ride. Yodelin' Dan at the fence, these 3, Pleasure to Ride, Yodelin' Dan. Yodelin' Dan gets up and wins!
Oh, just up in time. Paid a nice $11.20. So I was about even going into the Belmont Stakes and the Grade 1 Manhattan Stakes. Gio Ponte ran a disappointing 3rd. Shackelford led to mid-stretch before running 5th. It was interesting that it was all long shots throughout the pick 4 at Belmont. If you had the $2 pick 4 ticket, it paid $142,000. Wow. Jeff, Gina, his 2 kids, Chloe and Coleman, and Kim and I all went out to dinner. And then I checked my last 2 races. Sugar Spike at Hollywood went off at 33 to 1 and didn't make the lead, faded to 8th. And in my last bet, the Grade 2 Honeymoon Handicap, I went with a long shot entrustment, went off at 13 to 1 and was in a 4-way photo, although she really wasn't that close. She was about a length off in the 4-way photo. But still, it was a good selection. So on the day, I had 40 selections. I had 12 winners. It's a good 30%. I had 8 seconds and 7 thirds. So on the day, I had 27 out of 40 in the money. Lost a little bit of money both days, but had a great time. Had a really great time, especially on Saturday with Jeff Nelson and then with his family coming out to the track. So we'll be back next week. It's another big weekend of racing. Try to squeeze in a day, probably Wednesday or Thursday. Get some extra racing in now that it's the summertime and I'm retired.